Now, the next in our Saturday stack, Top Guns.
The RAF's elite Tornado fighter squadron from Coningsby is about to go to war again as part of the NATO combat games in Canada, codenamed Maple Flag. Today they will try to shoot this American Air Force jet down. It's one of the most valuable assets an Air Force can have and is worth over £150 million. It's a spy in the sky, an airborne warning and control system aircraft, commonly known as the AWACS.
AWACS aircraft are very high-value targets, and the loss of one is not replaceable. Fighters can be replaced quite easily to certain degrees, but air forces generally only have very limited numbers of airborne early warning aircraft, and the trade-off between the loss of a fighter and the loss of an E-3 really is no contest. We'll do anything we can to shoot down an AWACS aircraft.
Almost 100 fighters and bombers from 4 NATO nations will take part in today's simulated war mission.
One important point for the navs to write down is 55-15 north, 110-15 west.
The RAF Tornado Squadron are playing the bad guys, known as Red Air. The Americans, Canadians and Germans are Blue Air, the friendly forces from NATO. This is B flight of 29 Fighter Squadron.
25 or above, or you have a high likelihood with the number of aircraft out there of collecting a bomb through the canopy.
The RAF has its own AWACS airborne spy at Maple Flag, codename Magic.
Archer, maximum range is 8 miles.
It and its 17-man crew are the Guardian Angels, who will watch over 29 Squadron's 6 Tornadoes. These are the fighter controllers who will communicate the battle information from the AWACS giant radar dish to the pilots and navigators of B flight during today's war. The RAF has only 7 of these high-value assets. In military air warfare terms, its £150 million price tag is only a fraction of its real value.
The AWACS itself is an integral part of the air defence system. However, as time has moved on and we're now moving in towards the United Nations business, that we are going to employ the aeroplane in a similar way that the Americans have employed it, and that's, as its name implies, is an airborne warning and control system, and we're very anxious to exercise the command and control element of it. It's a God's eye view, and it's a very powerful radar that can look out to something in the order of 200 miles and command or can control aircraft, paint that surveillance picture and control aircraft at the same time.
The RAF AWACS will fly at 30,000 feet, 6 miles above the Earth. The AWACS is, in reality, a Boeing 707, the workhorse jet that has flown millions of business travellers and holidaymakers billions of air miles. Despite its great weight and the huge radar dish on top, the AWACS is not that difficult to fly.
The only effect that it has, as far as we're concerned, it reduces our speed from a 707 speed, from which this is a derivative. It reduces it because of the shock wave from the mushroom obviously has an impact on the control systems the faster we go.
This makes the AWACS even more vulnerable during air warfare, a prime target.
Well, I would have thought in any of these war situations we would be a primary target, yeah. And whether we have the assets, i.e. fighters, to sit there on our wingtips and protect us, I very much doubt, really. But yeah, we are all very conscious that in the real world, in a real war, we must be a primary target, yeah.
At the Maple Flag Air Base, the bombers and fighters who the British Tornadoes will be fighting are massing for the forthcoming battle.
Request clearance from Juliet across the air.
Ready, swaps in first the inner.
The RAF has decided to target the American AWACS, whatever the cost in lost aircraft. 5 Tornadoes can go down as long as one gets through.
Well, obviously what we're doing is going out there, we're looking for high-value assets, which is their AWACS. So if we can take their AWAC away, we take their eyes away.
We're inevitably going to take losses, unfortunately, against a threat that we find out there at the moment. But the aim is to get at least one aircraft through, hopefully more, to kill the AWACS. If we do that, that's our job done.
To get to the American AWACS, the F-3 Tornadoes, codenamed Flogger, will have to overcome a large number of blue air fighters. Once again, they will be outnumbered and outgunned. This aircraft is also known as a Sentry. It can stay in the air for more than 24 hours at a time. Air Forces call it an E3.
This purple box here is the actual exercise airspace, and on top of that you'll find there's an extension out to the northeast here, which they're also allowed to use.
Each tiny symbol on this screen is an aircraft, pegged by the AWACS radar.
If I expand the range scale now out to the biggest size, you'll see that out here, where my rolling ball is where we are. And right across the other side, to the east of the airspace over here, is where the US E3B is.
Logger 1, 4-ship committed on you, tactical, southeast of you, range at 10 miles.
The RAF is using a new electronic tracking system for these war games, which is still largely secret. On the edge of the aerial warfare range, the RAF has put a base station for the new tracking device, giving them a fixed point on the Earth. This system is called Link 16, or JTIDS.
JTID stands for Joint Tactical Information Distribution System, and it's a data link system, which is a secure means of communication between various platforms, whether they're on the ground or in the air. This is the first big exercise that we've used JTIDS on. It's really, the squadron are still working up with the system. This is the first time we've really used it in Anglia in a large exercise.
Roger, 35 flight, taxi runway 31 left, all short at the inner, read back.
The JTIDS Link 16 data system is so sophisticated that the fighter controllers in the RAF AWACS can even tell what's happening before the Tornadoes leave the ground.
The Tornadoes, our F3 guys up at Cold Lake, if I expand the range scale now, you'll see that all their little track symbols have come into the system, and they've just started taxiing. The speed is 10 knots. So they're taxiing out from the apron area to the runway at the moment. His headings on their heading, height and speed. The reason the height says 1,600 feet is because that's the elevation of the airfield above sea level. He's doing about 13 knots now, so they're probably going down the taxiway. When he starts to take off, I'll point it out to you and you'll see how rapidly the speed increases. You'll see also his altitude start to climb as he comes off the runway.
Okay.
32 knots he's got on now, 46, 72 now, 85 knots, so 113 knots now, so you'll be pulling the nose back about now, 140 knots, you should be airborne by now, and you'll start to see the next figure above climb. So we've got 180 knots nearly now, 1700, so he's about 100 feet above the ground now, you'll start to see him go up quite rapidly. TD shows you a number of other things about Flogger, but it shows you the armament fit that he's got, and also his fuel is indicated here. See that where it says FU and then it's got 104. So currently he's got 10,400 pounds of fuel on board, and that actually decrements as his fuel gets burnt. It comes down, and we can tell what his fuel state is without even asking us. It's an indicator to battle managers such as myself about how we can employ our assets. If I know, for example, that he's almost shot clean and he's only got about 5,000 pounds of gas left, then he's not much use to me. But if I look at it and I see he's got a full weapons complement and he's got 8,000 pounds of fuel remaining, then I can plan on using him for a bit longer.
But there's a problem here: radar jamming. Even the most secure and advanced electronic warning and guiding systems can be thwarted by a determined enemy.
This strobing is what you see here, is what it looks like when we're being jammed by another agency. You can see how difficult it's going to be to pick up radar in that sort of environment. So what we think has happened is the other E3 has changed to our radar frequency, and that's the effect it has. I think he's playing games with us, actually. He knows that's the effect he's going to have on us if he does that sort of thing. So what we'll do is change radar frequencies and hopefully it'll go away. There we are, we just changed radar. It takes a while to settle down again because the strobes are in the system. Here we go again now. Okay, I'm going to try and sort this out in a minute, so I won't be able to talk to you for a bit.